All right, broadcast is now live. So people should be able to see us now live. And I just want to say hi to every single one of you. This is Shirley Solis and a bunch of my friends that are here gathered on Saturday morning to give you the best of what we have and to make sure that you have a super enjoyable Saturday morning with us. Just having some tea or coffee or whatever you want. You maybe are still in your comfy clothes and as we are, and I know I look like I put makeup on this morning, and it's only because I was up until like 3:30 in the morning fixing some issues on my website, which to tell you the truth, this Google Hangout almost didn't happen. So it's really a miracle. Hi, Beth.
Hi. Sorry, I didn't know I needed a plug-in.
No problem. Um, so anyway, this Google Hangout almost didn't happen. Did you girls know that?
Yes, I saw the message about, was it malware? Oops.
Yeah, there was malware for those people that are watching and have no idea what malware is. It's almost like this really, really bad cold on websites. Okay, it's almost like the flu where your body aches. It was that bad. And normally, I think it takes a lot of money and a lot of hours to get something like that fixed. I actually fixed it in 5 hours, which is not a lot of hours for the kind of issue that I had. But it just so happened to be that one of my closest friends who he teaches me a bunch of internet stuff. I called him and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I have no idea. Google has just put me on their blacklist. Like, can you imagine building character with children.com on a blacklist on Google? That's just wrong, you know? Like you're having this good cost and they put you on this blacklist. So he said, Shirley, that happened to me this very morning. Like apparently Google does these crawls, and a crawl is basically where they send these automated systems to crawl through your website, and if they find anything that has been implanted by cyber criminals, ha 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 ha, they just come in and they're like, hey, we need to warn people about it. And that's what had happened. Apparently these cyber criminals had come in and they hacked my website and they put information in there that was potentially hazard to my visitors, and they just Google put a warning anytime people would visit. I'm really glad that it happened like at 11 o'clock at night when there's not a lot of traffic coming into the website. And he said, well, we need to go to the PHP files, which is just fancy coding, and we had to delete. I literally had to have gone through at least 500 files one by one, deleting over
Oh,
a thousand characters. Yeah, one by one. I finished like at 3:30 in the morning. I sent a submission to Google to see if they could reactivate the website and allow us to come in this morning. Normally that takes 24 hours. I mean, my friend had submitted his website like at 1 p.m. It was 11 p.m. and his still was not okay. They hadn't approved it yet. Whereas mine, by this morning at 8 in the morning, it was fine. I couldn't believe it. So here we are. Nothing can come against us. Yay! So anyway, just welcome everyone. My name is Shirley Solis, and I want to introduce you to my wonderful friends. I'm going to give them time to introduce themselves. So we're going to go ahead and start with Marcy first. So Marcy, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how we're associated.
Oh goodness, how are we associated?
Well, not like family associated, but how we met each other or whatever, what you do for me, etc.
Sure. My name's Marcy Crabtree, and I blog at benandme.com, which is primarily a homeschool blog. Um, Faith, family, homeschool, field trips, travel, and whatever else I can think of on a
Yes.
particular day, sometimes at the very last minute. I homeschool in Kentucky. It's kind of snowy outside. I tried to set up my computer so you all could see the snow, but it was too bright and it just looked like a big black face, so that didn't work out so well. I have one child, and ironically enough, his name is Ben, and Ben and me. So I'm me, and we have been homeschooling since the beginning. Ben's 13, and what do I do for Shirley? I met Shirley, I guess officially when she launched her book, Not Just Tacos, a
Mhm.
few months ago, and served on her launch team. And we got to be good friends, and now I'm helping her kind of spread the word about building character with children. So here we
Yes,
are.
thank you. And in a couple of weeks, she'll be visiting me. Well, she's not coming to visit me specifically, like she's coming to the Keys, but I happen to be on the way, so she's going to stop here and we're going to go to all of these wonderful local South Florida places with our families together. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, me too. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see.
for sure. All right, so next, thank you, Marcy. So glad that you're joining us. I know that Saturday morning is usually like a family day. That's why I scheduled this morning. And congratulations on the people in the West Coast because it's 7 in the morning for you and you're very brave to be up. But I figured, 10 in the morning was kind of okay because you can make that sacrifice and wake up at 7. Whereas if I made it at noon, it would be 9. By that time, you're making breakfast in the East Coast, so you wouldn't even to be able to make it. So that was my logic behind it. If I'm wrong, please let me know and I'll fix it next time, okay? All right. All right, next, I want to introduce you to Latoya. Go ahead, Latoya.
Hi, I'm Latoya Edwards. I blog at latoyaedwards.net. It's very easy. I am a single homeschooling mom to two boys. I have an almost 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. My 8-year-old is all over the autism spectrum and keeps me on my toes and on his toes and everybody else around us on their toes. And my little guy is very sweet. He actually broke his arm a couple of weeks ago, so that has been an adventure. Yes, he was outside playing and jumped off the platform next to the slide. The first time he did it, he was fine. Second time he did it, fractured his elbow.
Wow. Not fun.
So that has been what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks is adjusting to that, which is not fun trying to keep a 5-year-old boy kind of contained and still and quiet so that he can heal. But I just blog about my life. I blog about homeschooling. I blog about raising boys, about being a single mom, faith, being a single person, just anything that kind of pops up in my head that's going on in my life, I usually will share on my blog. So that's me. And I live
Wow.
in Florida too. And Marcy, the last time you came to Florida, you didn't come see me, and I was very sad.
Oh
Oh,
goodness.
Marcy,
Oh,
you're
we
in
we
trouble.
might have to make a pit stop.
Right? Because you were like an hour away, and I was like, oh, Marcy's here.
And where do you live, Latoya? Like, tell me the
In,
city.
in St. Pete,
That's in by Tampa, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. And Marcy, what area of Kentucky are you in? You're
I'm
in
in Louisville.
Louisville, right? Okay.
Louisville. Hmm.
Yeah. Everything in Louisville is named Louisville. Like
Louisville. Yeah.
Louisville Hospital, Louisville Bridge, Louisville Building, I mean, I just remember that. You
You
know
just
what
have to
happened?
say it. You just have to say it correctly.
I know
There's
I'm
always a
saying it wrong.
lesson. No, you're doing fine. It's Louisville, not
Louisville.
Louisville or Louisville. Yeah,
Right.
Louisville. Got to say it
Louisville.
right.
Okay. And you know what happened to us one time? We were driving through Louisville. You're asking a Hispanic to pronounce that right? Like, that's just wrong. Well, we one time we're driving, like we have the huge motorhome, the huge trailer behind us going to some convention somewhere. And the tire, one of our trailer tires goes like we're on the right lane. This tire pops off our trailer, spins all the way across the highway, jumps to the other side, spins across that highway, and lands completely on the opposite shoulder. It, like, mind you, all of these cars, it was 5 p.m. and nothing happened. No one got into an accident. It was a miracle. And
That
so,
is a
of course,
miracle.
no, and then Gus goes around because we have to get, because the whole tire fell off. It was a bearing issue. Only us. We get off and he has to get off to get the tire in a place that just like this man could have died. And
Mm.
and we picked it up and somehow we got off and I think we had to stay overnight in Louisville or something like that.
Yeah.
Vol. And so that was pretty interesting, but yeah, anyway, we just don't want to do that again. So, okay, thank you, Latoya. I just, for any mom that's out there, I just think you're so brave in being able to homeschool your two kids and just raising your boys and writing, and I just think it's phenomenal. I mean, sometimes it's hard when you have a spouse and you having to do it, quote unquote, alone. I mean, wow, that's just very admirable. So,
Oh,
our
thank you.
my crown off to you. Let me see. Hold on. My crown off to you. By the way, this is done with Google Effects. ladies. So if you go to the
Oh.
left-hand side and you look at the Google apps that you can add, one of them says Google Effects, and that's where you. Latoya did it in like 3 minutes, so you can all be wearing your crowns or your cat faces, or yeah, there you go. She's an angel. She looks like an angel too, but we probably know better.
Ooh,
All right. Oh
oh.
my
Ah,
God.
there you go.
Yes. Beth. Yeah, Beth. Okay. No, no, we like the little halo better. All right. Next, we're gonna introduce Beth. Beth, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Beth Holman, and things are falling over on my desk. I have 3 children, Emma, Abigail, and Isaac. My girls are 12 and 13, and Isaac is 6. And Latoya, I totally identified with you. When my son was 3, he broke his leg trying to fly like Iron Man. Bless his little pea-picking heart. We've homeschooled since my oldest was in kindergarten. I was very, very blessed to have a friend where Emma took ballet to talk to me about homeschooling. I had really never heard of it or even considered it, but I couldn't bear to send my 5-year-old away for 8 hours a day. That just didn't make sense to me. So this will be our 8th year, I guess. And I blog at sunflowerhouse.blogspot.com. And that's about it. We're Charlotte Mason homeschoolers. That's very exciting and fun. And I have my little iPad set up to take notes today.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. Well, I thought of everything, so I have a PDF download for you.
Ooh.
That way, all of the notes will be going on from, you just print that out, and I'll tell you, it's going to make your life so much easier.
Okay.
For those, thank you for being with us, Beth. You also look very pretty this morning, considering the fact that it's Saturday morning. We all kind of got a little bit dressed up. This is not how we normally look, people.
No.
I mean, but it was our first show, so we just had to look a little decent.
No, I
Well,
always look like this.
oh, Marcy, yeah, Marcy, you always look pretty.
I roll out of
Always.
bed looking like this.
Ew.
All right. Well, we're just having way too much fun, and I hope you people watching are having fun with us because this whole idea of introducing these other girls to you is just making that familiar. A hangout is a very comfortable place. It's a very relaxed place. We can't be with each other physically. So the next best option is to be with us on these hangouts, which this is amazing technology, people. I mean, whoever thought of this, Google, Mr. Google, Mrs. Google, this is just awesome because I feel like we can have that one-on-one connection. And when we have, even though we're not physically in the same cities, we still have that connection. It's like even I mean I still feel like this warm fuzzy feeling in my heart because of sharing with these ladies, even though it's through the distance. And because I carry that in my heart, I know that when I have to, turn off this device and just go be with my family, I'll still feel pretty much. If I was going to give it a percentage, I still feel like an 80 to 85% as if I was just hanging out with my best friend, having coffee or whatever at a cafe shop. But the beauty about this is, yeah, I didn't have to go anywhere. My family's sitting over there having breakfast. I'm watching them. They're just having to be a little bit quieter than normal. And but I'm not panicking, if the dog barks or the kids do ask me a question, like it'll just happen because it's a hangout. That's what happens in real life, right? And so part of this whole thing is learning to be very transparent, learning to be very real about our parenting, and just building this community. Okay, what I want to emphasize is, we can't do this alone. I mean, we know that. Yes, we have friends, people that we ask about parenting, but it's pretty nice when you find a specific community that is like-minded in so many ways. Like these particular women, they love, they love cultures. Their culture, they're very different in what they do, the way they homeschool, yet we still have this one mind, which is we're very much about loving God and instilling in our families and in our children character traits, character values. We don't have it all right, but we have fun while doing it, and we're there um, to basically give information to one another, to help one another. I mean, like Marcy in the last hangout, she was helping some parents in the Facebook questions that I couldn't answer, or she had better answers for them. She was there, and that's what it's all about, is creating this community. And right now there's about 10 girls total, right, Marcy, that were basically like this little pit of community.
Yeah,
But
that's
there
true.
are Hold on, I'm gonna. Beth, put yourself on mute because I can hear you. Okay. All right. And there's about 10 of us,
Oop.
and there you go.
I don't know how to. I can mute so I can't hear you, but how do I mute me?
Okay, I think you go up to the top and there's like
Oh,
you put mute microphone. Like to the top should have a little bar. Did you find it?
yes, because you couldn't hear me tell you I found it.
Oh, you see, that's perfect. Okay. Thank you. And so fun. So anyway, what I was saying is there's about 10 or 15 of us that are basically promoting this building character idea and website and videos. And we wanted to get larger. We wanted to be 50 women total, 50 families. I mean, if you can grasp the vision of 50 families totally focused on loving our kids, on even those parents that already have great relationship with their kids. I mean, there's always something where we can bring it up a notch. I mean, there's this one favorite book I have, and it's called the Seven Habits of Highly Effective Families. It's available on our family website, shoplbg.com. L as in lifetime, B as in books, G as in gifts, shoplbg.com. And this book talks about the different levels that a family goes through. And you sometimes a family's in survival mode, that's I've been there. That's a pretty dark place for family. And then you can be like you're at a place where you're stable, and that's a good place. That's like, everything's good. I'm happy with my life. The kids are obeying me. I'm just good. And then there's like another place where you're now in the contribution stage as a family. And it's not just mom contributing, it's not just dad contributing, but it's the whole family contributing to help others in one way or the other. And that's independent of the kids' ages. So that is where I envision taking families, going from whether it's survival or stable to this thriving place where families are completely healed, where parents are completely helping and loving their kids unconditionally, and just really giving the best of what they have without, because many times parents make decisions, emotional decisions in parenting, and it has to do with wrong ways of thinking, patterns, etc., that we have to break. But how do we do that? Who helps us recognize that there's a bad pattern, a wrong way of thinking in our parenting? If it isn't programs like this, if it isn't videos like what we're watching, if it isn't friends like ones we have here that are joining us, right? So that's the whole idea of creating this building character community. And as we're doing that, making sure that you as a mom or you as a dad, you are transforming, because parenting, yeah, we feel like we're giving to the kids, but in that there's this reciprocity that comes back to us. It's like every time I experience an issue with my kids, I grow. Every time there's an area where I'm not conquering that area, where I'm really being tried in that area, and I'm open to it, and just I embrace the fact that there's this conflict. And you saw video number 3, which if you are here joining us and you have no idea what we've been talking about as far as the videos, then please make sure that you go to buildingcharacterwithchildren.com, put your name and email there, and you'll begin to get a series of free videos for you to enjoy. But the very last, or the third video in that, is the sibling rivalry, and we talk about conflict and embracing that. And so every time we do embrace that conflict, it's like something in us changes, something in us transforms. We learn the lesson and we move on, right? So let me get started with the main topic. Just real briefly here, I introduced my friends to you in this hangout. We're going to be having a raffle. If you stay until the end, that's when I basically go up the Facebook comments if you post a question, and I just pick one, and that person will be winning a very, very special raffle from one of our sponsors, and I'll talk about her later. And then towards the, of course, I'll be answering questions. And I'll also be giving you the opportunity to join me in this community in a much deeper level, for a process, for a period of 4 weeks. Okay, so that'll be towards the end. But let's get to our content right now, and hopefully you'll get a lot from this, and take some good notes. All right. So for that, I'm gonna have a little sip of my tea. Ladies, do you have any questions or comments before I start with that? Are you like super excited to think about what this number one tool is where I can get kids to do chores exactly the way you want?
Yeah, I'm excited about that because
Hmm.
you said it's good for teens too, right?
Absolutely. Actually, it's perfect for teens because okay, so let's just jump right into it. Here's what happens. If if you have like a 5 or 6 year old and you're trying to train this child to do some chores, you teach them how to do the chores. And you can give the 6 year old a little bit of slack because God, they're still learning. At 6 years old, if you're telling them how to do laundry, I mean, laundry is like some basic steps. You separate the clothes into colors. By that time, they know how to do that. Then they put the pile of laundry into the washer. You put your detergent, or before you put your detergent before, depending on how your washer is. And you press some buttons, and that's it. So there's maybe like 3 or 4 steps to remembering how to do laundry, right? Which a 6 year old can totally begin to help you do that, by the way. And then you have a 7 year old, 8 year old. By this time, they're reading. You wouldn't necessarily give a 7 year old the difficult task of cleaning a bathroom. They can do daily cleaning, like maintenance of cleaning a bathroom, like wiping the bathroom with some, wipes or something. Um, I probably wouldn't give like the 7 year old the Clorox wipes because of them being so toxic. But if you have a natural cleanser or something that I would allow my child to maintain the daily cleaning of the bathroom to wipe it down. I mean, so like Marcy, you wouldn't need that because you have one child and unless he's the only one that messes it up, you may not need to do bathroom maintenance every single day because there's a lot less movement happening in that bathroom. But here in my house, like there's 8 of us cleaning the bathroom every day. And the more boys in the house, the more maintenance that's needed, right? Yeah,
Right.
Latoya is saying totally yes on that. So with me, here in my home, we have 4 boys, and one of them is 6, and there is a lot of maintenance cleaning. So there needs to be that maintenance every single day, so it doesn't get completely out of hand until the next week arrives when we do cleaning again. And so, yes, a 7 year old can clean that. That doesn't take, again, it doesn't take a lot. But as they get older, you begin to give them chores that really take a lot of time and a lot of detail. And this might be like, you have a 10-year-old that you've asked to cook, or you want her to, like my 10-year-old, she makes bread for the family. That takes details. I mean, it's a whole long process to bake bread. And my boys, by the time they're probably 9 or 10, they're definitely cleaning the bathroom. And so cleaning the bathroom is one of those chores that takes a lot of work, a lot of details. I mean, there's different components of cleaning a bathroom. Cleaning the kitchen is another component, like doing dishes. Every single one of my boys have, for those of you that don't know, I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and those 3 boys are in charge of dish duty for dinner every night. And now they have one day that they cook. So I only cook 2 days a week now because my boys cook. One boy cooks on Monday, one boy cooks on Wednesday, one boy cooks on Friday, and my husband cooks on Saturdays. So I cook on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is totally fair, right? It's just perfect. So, and you know how they cook? I gave them my cookbook because I made the instructions so simple. I'm like, here, get this cookbook, find a dish. I'll do all of the groceries for you. And I'm doing no to my daughter, like she's talking to me. And, I just bought all of the groceries they needed. And I said, go ahead and cook. And honestly, my son surprised me because since I was not a chef when I wrote the book, I made sure the instructions were very detailed. And so he just had to follow them. But cleaning the kitchen is like when we tell a child, hey, you have to do dishes today, there's a lot that goes to doing dishes. I mean, it's not like you just wash the dishes and no, washing dishes is just one aspect of what has to be done. When I think of washing dishes, I mean, you have to clean the counter, right, ladies? I mean, you
Right.
have to clean the counter. If I mean, have you ever washed dishes or have you had a child wash dishes, but they leave a mess with like full of water all on the side? That's happened to you, I know.
Mhm.
So, or they don't clean the sink after they're done and it's all full of food. So there's a whole process to washing dishes that just is not just let me wash these dishes and put them away. It involves a whole process because if they're going to wash dishes the right way, then that means they have to pick up the table. If somebody, like the condiments, put the condiments away. That means they have to put any leftover food away. They have to put the dishes in the dishwasher if that's what your family does, or maybe just wash them by hand. Dry the dishes and pots, put those away. There's just a whole process. Wipe the counters down, clean the floor. I mean, they have to do what I normally do because the whole process of raising these children up to be responsible is that you would then begin to delegate to them what you normally do so that they can become fully responsible before they move on to being on their own, whether it's because they get married or they move away. And so I want to make sure that before my children leave my home, that they know all that it is entailed in cleaning the kitchen the right way. Plus, goodness, I have 6 children, run a business. There's just no way that I would have time for myself if I did it all, you know? People always wonder how I do it, and this is how I do it. I've developed systems, which is what I'm going to share with you today. And yes, it'll take me a little bit to develop the system, but in the long run, it saves me a lot of time and it gives me sanity. And that's what I'm wanting for you that you're joining me on this hangout to walk away with. I want you to have sanity to really be able to enjoy who you are, to enjoy your marriage without feeling like you're exhausted at the end of the day because you had to do cooking and cleaning and dishes and everything for the whole entire family. Like there's a season of that, but that season has to slowly transfer. We can stay in that season for the rest of our parenting years. Right, ladies? Yeah. So far, do you all have any comments?
Yeah, I should have had more children.
You're so funny. Yeah. Just to be able to apply this, this is fun.
Just so I could have someone cook on Monday and Wednesday and Friday.
Mm.
Poor
Or Ben will
Ben.
just have to do a little more cooking, right?
Poor Ben. Poor Ben does a lot. He does a lot of chores.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's so sweet. He's a good kid. You've really raised a wonderful child. You see
Thank
his
you.
sweet little face and his pictures are just adorable.
Thank you.
So here's what we're basically going to do. And no, here's how I came about with this tool. And although a lot of what I share has come from somehow from reading books. I mean, you can see my library in the back. I have an endless amount of books, and I read a lot. And yes, I've picked up a lot from reading books, a lot from having conversations. But my mind is very deductive, inductive, and I analyze things a lot, and so I'm always thinking of ways to make my life easier and how in turn to take that and teach it because I love to teach. So one day I was reading a book called Work the System. Mind you, it's not a parenting book at all. It's a business book. And what this book was talking about is how businesses, especially small businesses, should have a system. So this was the story of a man who had a I forget it, but it's like those companies that they answer calls for other companies. And so he had a high turnover rate. There was a lot these people needed to learn. And he just found himself teaching the same information over and over and over again. And he realized that the larger corporations have a manual. They have this system that they give to people and they say, this is your job description. This is what you have to do. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I immediately started applying some of that in my business. Like, okay, how do you post something on Facebook? Because eventually, there could be someone that needed to log into my accounts and do social media for me, even though, Marcy knows I haven't surrendered that because I do love to connect with my people. Um, but I was thinking ahead and started applying some of that for different things and started delegating some of the things that I do in my business by writing out everything that it took to do blank. If I wanted somebody to write an article, then I wrote the instructions on not how to write an article, obviously, but what I'm looking for in the article so that these instructions could be read by someone and they could immediately duplicate that without me having to invest time over and over and over. So I one day it just came to me. I'm like, wait a second. I was telling my kids to do dishes and I kept encountering this lack of quality control. Even though I had done hey, this is how you clean kitchen, and I had done the proper training step by step, the quality control issue was like one would forget this, the other one would forget that, somebody wouldn't put away the food, next day the food was bad, somebody didn't clean the table was sticky the next day, like just all of these things that weren't matching up and I was not happy with. So I thought, hey, what I need to do is come up with a system to make sure that this gets done the same way every single time, no matter what child is doing this. Awesome, right? Are you girls excited? All right, so I get excited because I'm just thinking how much easier this made my life. So I went to my Google Docs and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, and this is actually what is, oops, there it is. Okay, and this is actually your PDF download. This is your free PDF download for being with us in this Hangout today. And it's the steps to clean the kitchen. And so what I did is I went step by step. Obviously, you can revise this, to meet your particular needs. This is how I want my kids to clean a kitchen, and I'm going to go over it because I want to show you how detailed I was. How long did it take me to do this? Maybe 30, 40 minutes at the most, if this is really hard for you, because you don't want to miss anything. So what this little piece of paper did for me is I printed it out, I put it in a transparent sleeve, and I hung it somewhere in the kitchen, like on the refrigerator door. And before I hung it on the refrigerator door, I sat down with them and I said, "This is the new article on how to clean the kitchen, and I want you to look through it. I'm going to go step by step because I want you to know that this is what is expected of you. And at first, I know you know how to clean the kitchen." Because they're always going to think that they know, like, why do they need this ridiculous piece of paper, what, like, mom, are you kidding? I'm 15 and you're making me look at this. But that's where it comes in, that they need to obey you, and their teachable heart is willing to follow step by step, because I can assure you one day at a particular job they're going to be handed a piece of paper like this that's going to tell them this is what you need to do, and they're going to have to read it and they're going to have to do it the way they say it. And so basically what I think is this is live training for what's to come. And so I gave them this and I said, okay, we're going to read this. And if you follow this step by step, we are going to avoid conflicts in our family. Because I did have conflicts, like the next day when things were not done the right way, it would be, oh, so and so you didn't do this, or so and so this was left out. Now we have to throw it away. And it created some conflict that was easily avoided, or it has been easily avoided because of this document. The other thing that happens is that because you've been very detailed, you can go back to it and hold them accountable to it. So for instance, when I initially wrote this article, I didn't include taking out the garbage. So one day, they would, one day I found garbage in the garbage can hadn't been thrown away that day, the garbage bag. And they said, well, mom, I said, nobody, who didn't take out the garbage? And they said, well, oh, I didn't. And I said, it's on the list. They're like, no, mom, it's not on the list. Yes, it's on the list. I'll bet you it's on the list. And so I went to my list and I had forgotten to put it there. So at that point, I had to back off and say, you're right. I'm so sorry I didn't put it in the list, but I'm going to go put it now, And that way, but it was so good because they had followed everything in the list to the point where they memorize it and now they don't need to follow it. But if there's ever any issues, then it's in writing and I know what I need from them and they know what I'm asking, what I'm expecting. And I think it's just nice. It's like a contract almost, okay? And this is already done. And so what you do is you just pass it on to the next child and to the next child, and you just say, up here it is, rather than having to go through the whole entire process over and over and over in a way that's nagging. So let's just go through this real briefly, and it's steps to clean the kitchen. Please read and follow each step in detail. You know that I am a homeschool mom when I write instructions like this. And it says, please read and follow each step in detail in order to execute a good job. Remember to do your job with a good attitude. Now, and I just want to have a parenthesis in here. There may be parents that are joining us on this call that are not homeschooling, and that's totally okay. I mean, I just happen to be homeschooling, and I happen to have friends that are homeschooling, but everything that we're talking about could totally be applied to non-homeschooling parents. And the reality is that if you have children, you probably are home educating your children anyway, because there's things that you teach your child. And so that's part of what home education is. Home education is making sure that you understand your child's education is in your hands, not in a teacher's. You're not delegating. Well, you might be delegating it to a teacher or a different school. However, you're still overall in charge of their education. And so that's all that home education means. And as a parent, like I have friends who had sent their kids to public school and yet were home educating their child because of the way that they chose to raise that child and to be involved with that child's life. Okay. So anyway, going back to my form. First is pick up the dishes, cups, forks from the table, counters, and overall kitchen area. Put them in the sink. Put away the condiments either in the refrigerator or spice drawers accordingly. You know, we all help in doing this, but if there's anything that we forgot, then this makes sure that that it gets done fully. Third, put any leftover food in the storage containers. Put put the dirty pots in the sink. Put away storage containers. Like it may seem ridiculous to have to go into that much detail, but we are literally teaching our children to think critically by this because it's a critical thinking process. You know, like Latoya, I want to have your input right now and tell me if something like this would be a little bit more helpful for like your child that has autism. I mean, would something be this detailed help him to be able to do dishes, for instance?
Absolutely. I was just sitting here trying to think how I could tweak that for my boys. I think it's helpful for boys, period. You know, they have the squirrel syndrome where
Yeah.
go pick up your toys and 2 seconds after they've turned around from you, they're skipping or building blocks or something. And so I have the same thing with my guys. I'm like, guys, I need you to go tidy up your room. I need you to get your clothes on because we need to leave, in 20 minutes. And it's like every 2 seconds I have to come back and what am I supposed to do, Mom? What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, oh, a list like that would be great. I would probably need pictures for my 5-year-old because he's not at the point where he could read a list like that, but that would totally be helpful because I don't have to keep saying, well, after you make up your bed, you have to brush your teeth and you have to put underwear on. Yes, every day, underwear, like, the same things over and over and over again, and having it listed out would be so, so helpful, especially on those days where I am like too sick or too tired to get up. It would
Yeah,
be super, super helpful. And
exactly,
and
exactly.
also too, I like I'm looking at the list, and my boys are always asking for ways that they can help me out, and I like having it all in front of me. I could, spot a task that would be appropriate for my 5-year-old or appropriate for my 7-year-old, and that would be really helpful.
That's awesome. Beth, what do you think? Would this help your family to have a little bit more, um, I mean, I'm sure your family is already all good. I'm just saying, how would you're so cute. I love the way you laugh.
I'm sorry. Um, yes, I do think it would be very helpful. I have one who is very sure that she knows how to do every single chore, whether I've told her how or not. And when I come and tell her, you really needed to do this, well, I'm going to do it this way, is usually her response. And then I have to say, well, when you have your own house, you can do it your way. But while you're living with me, you get to do it mine. So if we had a list where, the list is objective, and they
Sure.
would know the expectations without me having to remind them all the time. And, like you said, you can just come back and say, okay, well, we kind of skipped over 5 and 6 here, so let's come back and finish this up. I do think it would help, especially because I spend a lot of my day making sure my 6-year-old doesn't blow up the house. And so my girls have to work on their own, and I think it would really be helpful for all of us to have more information, and even for me, because, this is a very detailed list,
Yeah.
and I am a scatterbrain, so I could have this in the kitchen, and I get easily distracted, with the 6-year-old and the blowing up of the house. He watches too much Mythbusters. But anyway, so I could come back and say, okay, I left off on number 4. I need to do the steps down to 9 because it's my day to clean the kitchen. I think it would be helpful for everybody.
That's perfect. And I mean, you can even tell your daughter to make to edit this list and to do
That's a
it the
good
way,
idea.
yeah, you could give it to her and say, hey, you know what? We need to do this. And how would you clean the kitchen? And have her do it, and then you can work on it together so that way she feels like, hey, I've had a say in this.
Yes.
And then then you can have, you mean, and to me it's like this manual. I've only had to do this one for the family overall because I feel like kitchen cleaning is one of my pet peeves, and I live in South Florida. Our roaches are huge. So if I don't, right, Latoya, like they are the half of my hand. Yes, yes, they're
Wow.
huge. And they fly and all this stuff. And so they
Ugh.
come in from outside, and you will find them crawling through your kitchen, no matter how clean it might look if the kids have left food out. And so I'm very particular about it. And so this is one area that I want to make sure that it's very clean. But people can certainly adapt something like this and do it for bathroom, or maybe for vacuuming, or how to tidy up a room. And like Latoya said, with using some pictures, it's like this could be the manual to managing your home. And this is, and it has to be very detailed because, again, like you said, it just helps us establish that new habit. If you understand how a habit is built, it's like the habits in our brain are like these roads that have been built in our brain. And the mind doesn't think anymore, oh, how do I have to do this? It just does it. Like we brush our teeth in exactly the same way every single day. We take a shower in exactly the same way every single day. We drive to X location in exactly the same way every single time. Our brain doesn't have to think about it because it's already a habit. And so what I'm trying to do with this list is establish that habit so that the mind can just look at something so simple. I mean, we can use our mind and literally think for something that is complex. For something like doing dishes, what we want is to establish new habits, create a critical thinking process, and at the same time have the system that can be duplicated by anyone. I mean, like Latoya said, wow, the day I never even thought about that. If you are sick as a mom and you're like just laying there, and you could say, hey, can you please clean the kitchen and follow this for me? um, when you're done being sick, you're going to be a lot more sane. Like you're not going to have to recover um, all the mess that they made. In fact, if they can follow simple instructions like this, and or anything, they can make a decent amount of food. They can cook some rice, or depending on, if you have a slow cooker, they can throw in some vegetables. Whatever. The point is they can follow instructions, they can duplicate the efforts, and anyone can do it. So let me just continue on through the list. Check. Oh, check the clean sink. So because we have the, like the dirty sink area and then the clean sink area, and put away any clean dishes. Now, mind you, I'm having them doing that before they're washing dishes, because that way all of those can be put away. I thought of everything, I'm telling you. This is totally like the homeschool mom in me over years. And okay, so put away those dishes, be neat and organized when putting away items, because I knew it's almost like in writing these instructions, I had to anticipate what they would want to do. They'd want to put them away, however, and not be very neat and organized. Like, okay, I'm just putting them away. No, no, no. I'm instead be neat and organized. Okay. Next, we wash all the dishes with warm water and soap. Be careful with porcelain and glass, because I knew in delegating dishwashing, I was going to lose some of those extra dishes, cups, etc. And that's okay. They have to learn, and it's fine. Now, pay special attention to pots and dishes all around. Feel for grease and wash well. And next, we dry the dishes that you just washed and put them away in corresponding places. Wipe all counters, including the island, the toilet chair, dining room table, with water and soap or special cleaner. Wipe all of the appliances that were used, like the blender or whatever, including the microwave inside and out. Check cabinet doors for dirt or grease, and wipe clean as well. Clean the sink area with cleaner if needed. Wipe faucet and all around. Like that's important. I mean, it's little attention to details, right? But I mean, you could have cleaned the whole kitchen, but if your faucet is all slimy or whatever, it looks gross. It doesn't look finished. So here I made sure that it was finished. Wash the sponge. You don't want like a sponge that's all gross with food and everything. You brush and towel well, and squeeze any water out from the sponge and towel, and leave to dry. again, it's details. I had to think through this one time, but it's there. You know, I, it saves me so much work, so much stress. I mean, you can imagine. Then they have to sweep or vacuum the floor in the kitchen and dining room area, be detailed and clean underneath chairs, table, islands, and corners, clean floor with wet mop in those areas. If you have younger children, like, you know, and even a 9-year-old, brooms are so big today that even a 9-year-old has a little bit of a hard time cleaning the kitchen. Well, cleaning the floor, I'm sorry. So my daughter does dishes for breakfast. And so in breakfast dishes, or there's not as much cleaning as in maybe dinner dishes or whenever your heaviest meal is. So this particular list is more for the boys that are dealing with somebody's typing. I can hear you. Okay, sorry. And so this is more of a detailed list for the big messes that we make in the kitchen for the heaviest meal. And then um oh, so what I did for even like my 9-year-old that once in a while helps me with the kitchen. Well, she does breakfast dishes, but it helps me pretty often. What I did is I bought one of those $20 vacuums. They sell them at Walmart. They're electric. They're not battery operated. They're electric. You plug it in. They're actually very good, and they sweep as if you had just broomed. So a 5-year-old can help you sweep because it's easier to push the machine forward and back than it is to sweep, with a broom. So if you can invest in one of those, that's great because it helps for for those younger children that, where you need like a quick fix, rather than moving like vacuum cleaners can tend to be so big and heavy. Like not even an adult can handle them sometimes, even if they're self-propelled. But with these little vacuums, like any quick cleanup, a 5 or 6-year-old can totally do. So, and then those wet mops, the little like Swiffer or whatever they're called, those are great too because you can you can they're wet and it's good for everyday cleaning, just to pick up in the house and like any little area in the kitchen that needs to be wiped so that it makes it through the week. Then I did at the number 9, which is tie up the garbage bag, throw it away in the trash container outside, replace inside garbage can with a new bag, other kitchen rules, etc. But anyway, here it is. Here's this list that I'm hoping that you are going to edit and apply in any other area that you need detail. The idea is not that you would give your kids a hard time. This is not like this is the law or, and you are going to be completely punished if you don't follow this. This is the way Shirley said to do it, and so now you're a dictator. And no, the idea is that you take this tool, that you would apply it in your home, that you would persuade your children that this is a tool to help you get along better and to make their job easier to help them in the long run. Have my kids always done it without complaining? No. Have I heard endless amount of times that they don't need the list? I have. And have they continued to use it and have I seen improvement over time? Absolutely. So even though you might hear the occasional whining over the list, it still helps you. It's worth it. Don't make it a law. Make it a tool that is used for your family, just like the phone, just like, you know, it's a tool. Don't make it it's something that we use for our advantage. So make it that and keep it as that. And I really hope that it'll help you and that you'll apply it to any other areas. After I wrote this, I actually found that there is a resource that has stuff like this in a lot of detail, and I have it on our website, and it's called the Girls Guide to Homemaking Skills. I was bad in not getting you the actual name, and the reason why I mean, it has like how do you clean the bathroom, how to clean the room, I mean, just a lot of details. However, I think we don't need all of it. Like sometimes we get a resource and it's just overwhelming. It's like too much information, more than what you need. And so I thought, I'm just going to give you this. It's free. If you want to buy that, you could. Again, it's like the girl, and I think the fact that they put the title is Girls Guide to Homemaking Skills is like, come on, boys need to do this stuff too. So, and I don't know that my son would be really happy if I had something from the Girls Guide of Homemaking Skills for him. So, so I just put this generic thing together, and if you need to come up with two or three of these in your own, and it saves you, the amount of money that you would have invested, and you've got it. So now, ladies, let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to begin to look for some questions here on Facebook. Okay, so go ahead, ladies.
I don't have any
Anyone?
questions, but I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well, I've had a chore chart, that I printed out and laminated and hung on the kitchen wall years ago, which Ben now pretty much ignores, but it told the chores, what he's supposed to do. Why I never thought to actually write like chore descriptions like this is beyond me, but I think it's brilliant, and I'm going to get out my laminator because I can
Yeah.
do one of these for each room of the house, and then just laminate it, and
Mhm.
when he's supposed to clean the bathroom, he can pull that out of the drawer and have his little checkoff list. And we can do one for the kitchen and whatever. Yard work, it could be for anything, because Ben has ADHD, and even at 13, Latoya mentioned the squirrel syndrome. I mean, Ben has the Lego syndrome. So it doesn't matter what he's supposed to be doing. Ultimately, he's going to be building Legos in the middle of it. And so having, a checkoff list for him to go back to and say, okay, even if he stopped to play Legos for a minute, he can go back and find where he left off and then continue on with his chore. I think it's brilliant. This is brilliant.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcy. And it's something so simple. Why didn't it occur to any of us before? I don't know. And maybe, and I feel like that's where God is so amazing with me, because he teaches me these things. I apply them to my house, and then I turn around and I'm like, I can't enjoy any piece of information or anything that's just my own, because I immediately, as I get this quote unquote revelation of things, I am always thinking how it's going to help you, ladies. That's just how God created me. I think I was born to do this. And it's, again, everything that I share is never any unique information to me. It's not like any other parent hasn't thought of this probably, but I'm placed before a unique set of people, and those are the people that I have to share this information with. So I'm not, I'm not a brilliant person, but the idea is like, yay, it's so simple that it's brilliant.
Hmm.
That's what's so cool, that anybody can do it, because that's the whole thing, that we have to make parenting duplicatable in a way, because there's already enough things to think about. Um, I was going to say with your comment is, yes, we can make one of these for every single room in the house, but my suggestion would be that in order to establish this new habit for you and for Ben, that you would just start with one until
Okay.
that one is something that you can follow through with, in holding him accountable to it, and that he can follow through with. And so once that's done and he's not looking at that list every single day anymore, then you can then create a new list for something else. Because I know there's going to be moms, Marcy, not you, but other moms in the call, they're going to make one of these for every single thing in the house, and they're going to try to implement it all at once,
Right.
and that's just too much. We have to make it sustainable. We have to make it where we don't get tired at the beginning of the race to not follow through at the end. So I would say take one, take this one, take the
Yeah.
steps to cleaning the kitchen. Start with that one for 2 to 3 weeks. When that one's done and you say, wow, we've really improved in this one, then you can take another 40 minutes aside, 30 minutes, and then work on a new room. So that, because what we're also not trying to do is not make this child feel like they have to live by a list every single day either. Because that's what will happen if you make the list for, not you, but some mom. If this mom makes a list for everything in their house, at the same time, this child will feel like, wow, I want to think for myself in some areas. And so we're not wanting to discourage them from thinking on their own, but we're wanting to make a tool that's easier. So you know what I mean. And so with that, I'm just going to say take one and work just on that one for several weeks, and then take something else on until, it just goes through the rest of the house.
That's a great idea. Incidentally, my husband's sitting off to the side, and he said that he would like to have this list.
Yeah, you know what? No kidding aside, I went away to I went to several conventions. I went away to several conventions this year where I had to leave like on Wednesday and came back on Sunday. And I had the list in the kitchen, and Gus told me that he had followed it because it made it so simple.
Yeah.
And he was happy because he doesn't want to think about how to clean a kitchen. You know, he's just like, follow the list, read the, and he even was talking the boys into reading the list. He's like, all you guys have to do is read the list. This is so easy. Yeah. So yeah, totally. It's really, really cool. Latoya, what do you think?
I'm trying to figure out how I can get. I think I want to start out with my boys and their morning routine because
Hmm.
oh my goodness, is that like the bane of my existence right now is getting them ready in the morning to get school started. I'm just like, could we please just clean up their toys and put clothes on so that we can get started with our day? Um, as actually thinking, and I think what I probably will have to do is take pictures of my little one as he's doing the steps that he needs to do in the morning to laminate so that he can have those to look at. He's my visual learner. He needs to
Right.
see, or else he claims that he forgets. He's got like, dementia at age 5 because he can never remember anything. It's like,
I
I
wonder
forgot, mommy.
I wonder if you could make a book, like because if you put it in a one page, like an 8 by 11, it's a lot of information at once. And so if he might jump, but if you make a book where the one
Yeah.
picture is the first thing he's got to do, then he can just focus on that, and then the next thing and focus on that, and then like a 5 page book kind of thing. That
Yeah,
would
well,
be cool.
I wasn't thinking book wise. I have little key rings. Like
Yeah,
we memorize scriptures together, and so I
right.
usually have our scriptures on key rings that they can kind of flip through. And I was thinking I could probably do something similar, so he could do one thing, flip it to the next one,
Hmm.
until he gets to the end, and then he knows he's done, and that he may come to the table so we can start devotions. But
Yeah.
yeah, either that or just a big giant poster with numbers. My oldest son likes posters, so I typically will
Okay.
make him a poster.
Yeah, I see the stuff on your wall. You have all of that visual stuff
Yes,
for your
that's our it's our character training stuff back there. We're
Wow, that's
working
awesome.
on developing good character and good traits, and right now we're working on being obedient and helpful.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. All right, Beth, what do you think? Thank you, Latoya.
I think that I would have been the mom that made lists for all the rooms and tried to make them do it all in one day. So I'm
Yes.
glad you said not to do that because I'll try to restrain myself. But I know this will help the girls, and I'm trying to figure out what chores I can give Isaac to do. Um, you know, he's Isaac. So, but I think maybe a picture chart will be good for him too. And if we put it on the door in our kitchen, where everybody is kind of getting ready for the day, maybe he'll be able to see, you know. And I loved the tool in the first video with the 5 fingers, and I'm going to definitely implement that with him especially. But I think if he has pictures and the 5 fingers all together, maybe we'll get into a good morning routine.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad. I'm going to read some of the comments on Facebook. And there's a friend, Carrie Jones Butler, who I met in South Carolina this past year in 2013. And she says that she actually had a list. So that's, awesome. She says that she kept it in a sheet protector. The list had boxes to be checked. That's another idea.
Hmm.
Um, Afterwards, uh, let's see. She says one question that she asked, which is a nice question. Did you go back and look all around the kitchen with mommy eyes? So, for the younger kids, that could be like, you know, I have my eyes, but how would mommy eyes look? And so I thought that's a great insight. And she says, why did I quit using the checklist? My 18-year-old still needs it. Like she's wondering why she stopped. So that was cute. That was a cute comment. Wendy says we totally need this list because we encounter many of these issues, even though they do know how to clean our kitchen. Can't wait to get using the system. And yeah, that's the thing is we know how to do it, but they forget. There's just so many details to getting it done. Um, Carrie says we love the idea of building a large, an online community of like-minded families. Yeah, I love that. And eventually my goal is to gather us all physically in one place, whether it's the moms there at first, together, because I've envisioned something long term, and it's first, the moms, like moms, we're always the first ones to want to be together, to want to learn, to want to. There's just that uniqueness about us. Not that guys aren't, but they don't want to talk like we do. I mean, how many of them have a hangout to learn to be better dads? They just, they rather talk about video games or go shooting, hunting, the weather or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to stereotype, but I know Gus is a man of few words. And so he would enjoy much more one-on-one contact. And so sometimes I feel like the women, we are the ones that have those connections. We build those connections, and then we get ourselves to places physically with our families, that so that then our husbands can connect, so that then our kids can connect. Kind of like a homeschooling conference, but I'm thinking my focus is really to strengthen the family, but fixing the little holes that are missing, and rather than sending you like for to one place and then to another place and having all of these different teachers, which is what tends to have, it's almost like I want to create this one place where it's compact, where you don't have to go here and here and here or read hundreds of books to get the information you need. But in this community, we help each other in a community. I'm actually reading a book too now by Larry Crabb. He's a Christian psychologist, and the book is called Connected. And he says that he, I'm just going to transfer myself here. Just, yeah, he says that a lot of the issues that we're dealing with can actually be taken care of by community. Like we don't need a psychologist. All we need is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring myself back up. Nope, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Nope, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Camera. Nope, oh gosh, I'm doing this wrong. Come on. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring up my face, but I don't see myself. Oh, because my camera is off. Do you ladies see me? Oh, I get it. There it is. Okay, I should be on now. Turn camera on. Okay, it's not happening. What am I doing wrong? Oh, okay. Sorry, ladies. There we go. Okay, now it should be fine. Yeah, and he's just saying how so many families or so many people go to psychologists, psychotherapy, counseling, etc. And he's not against that. Obviously, he's been working in the field for over 35 years, but he really is saying, he's like reaching out and saying, hey, so much of the issues that humans are experiencing is because of lack of connection. And when people, even non-professional people, gather together and they talk through things, they bond and they connect, those issues really encounter healing. And and that's what I want to see. I want to see people gathering together and healing together and just being there for one another, and and connecting at a level that really helps people heal. Because the truth is, and if you saw video 4, I think we have a generation of people that are now parents who just did not have the proper training. My mom was very busy. I mean, she took a little bit of time aside each day to try to talk to my brother and I, but she had two jobs. She worked from 6 in the morning to 2:30, picked me up from school, then she spent like an hour and a half with us eating, where she gave us lunch or pre-dinner, whatever, and then she would go off to her second job from 4:30 to midnight. So in that little bit of time, yes, she taught me a lot of things, but it was not the normal time that a child should have with her mom, and my dad was not available. So he was, they were divorced. And so I know that my story it isn't unique. I know that that is a lot of what we've experienced and what the my generation is living with. And so we almost have to be that much more on purpose to create these kind of communities. Um, okay. Carrie says that they also have cooking days for your older children. Okay, somebody asked, how many chores are appropriate for my 10-year-old girls who are homeschooled? How many chores are appropriate? I wouldn't say it's necessarily a question of how many chores. I would say it's more like how much help do you need? Because, sometimes I never thought of how many chores they each needed to have. It was almost like out of need because I kept having children and children. I couldn't handle all of the things that were on my plate. And so that's a good thing in a way, because if you are smart about it, then you delegate more and it helps them to grow up and um, to mature in those areas to become more responsible. And so for me, I never particularly focused on how many, but just what needed to be done. You know, if at 10 years old, she can definitely be cleaning the bathroom, definitely be helping you with cooking, at least lunch, like she can be making sandwiches for the family or breakfast that are simpler meals that don't require as much cooking. Isabella, Papa's outside. Go outside. You can find him then, sweetie. So cute. Okay. And she can be helping you with with undusting the furniture. I can never say dusting the furniture because that story from Amelia Bedelia has ruined me forever. So, so she can help with undusting the furniture and quick sweeps on the floor. What else? Um, Washing clothes. So it's just more of what is needed around the house that you need help with that could be delegated to their age. Now, that brings me to the next topic. Well, not the next topic, but it's what I want to share with you. I want to share with you a little bit more about this program that I have, this opportunity to become part of this community where we go way deeper. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a screen sharing again. I know some of you like to see my face for whatever reason, and I appreciate that. Or maybe you just want to see my crazy expressions, but I do need to show you this visually. So I'll come back as soon as I can with that. And this program is called Building Character with Children. Okay. And it's a virtual program, okay, which means is we're going to start January 30th. January 30th, we have the actual day that we're starting this program. And I created this program for those parents that wanted to go deeper into learning, into just transforming their families, into having a vision and a mission to go from that point of survival to stability to thriving. Okay, and that's the process that we've had to go through as a family. This program is basically something that I started 8 years ago. I started this workshop at the homeschooling conferences. I would tell people how we had raised our kids on character, what exactly I had done, the ideas, just everything I had done. And so it started as a 1 hour workshop, and little by little, it just developed into more information and more information and more information. I think 2 or 3 years ago, I sold it just as a DVD that had all of the contained information, but it wasn't live. And now I want to extend it more and I want to make it live for us so that we could talk like this, so that we can connect on a one-to-one level, right? And it's everything that you see here, but those are the images of the content. However, everything is digital. So you don't physically get any content, but I mean, it's not like a DVD that you're going to get by mail or whatever, but you do have access to a membership areas only side of our website. And so let me tell you what is everything that we're covering. The program again is virtual. Oh, great. I can scroll down. This is not, or let me, maybe we can scroll down. How do you scroll down on this? Ladies, do you know how to scroll down? All right, you're gonna have to go there. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you to go to buildingcharacterwithchildren.com/package, and I'll tell you everything that's there. So it's buildingcharacterwithchildren.com/package/. There's going to be a video there. Just pause the video and I'll be sharing everything that we get. So I'm going to put my picture up again for so you can see me. There it is. And I'm going to be reading to you what everything is that's included, okay? So first off, we're going to be having this private members area. It's a private community forum. It's always based when we can use community environment to learn from one another. So in this forum, you'll be able to learn from one another's family struggles, the successes, like the particular things of what do we do when this happens? And learning from the answers and learning, well, what would you do then before it happens to your family is what this community is going to be all about. I think this to me is going to be one of the best resources because it's going to make friendships forever. It's going to connect you with other like-minded families, and it's going to give you answers to specific questions to your family. Then we're going to have 4 weeks of intensive training, which will start on January 30th. Everything is going to be recorded. So if for whatever reason you're not able to be with us on that particular call and video training, you'll be able to watch it later on. Okay. And so you'll always have access to this information, and any new content that I add to this program is going to be live. It's going to be yours. Like any, if it's a like building character with children 2.0, or 3.0, any improvements or updates I make are going to be yours forever. In that, we're going to talk about in the different sessions in the 4 weeks, we're going to spend probably about 1 to 2 hours discussing character building. What is character? How do we build responsibility? What are the simple tricks that make all of the difference? How do you establish a healthy family culture? What is a healthy family culture? What is the long-term vision for your family? Like, have you actually written this stuff down? And yeah, we all know that it's a good idea to write down mission statements or vision statements, and we think that's good for businesses. But let me tell you, we don't get to a place in a healthy family that's thriving if you haven't taken the time to do this. And the reality is, we need somebody to walk with us to do that. Then I'm going to talk to you about resources that are going to help us build character and how to use them. I mean, in my walk, I've used books, I've used videos, I've used movies, I've used copy work, I've used um, just different templates and different things that I'm including as a sampler there for you. I have a huge list of resources that tell you what I've used with links, and even the movies that I provide. I mean, there's tons of movies that have links to IMDb so that you can check on the parenting previews and what parentings are saying about those movies. But they're all family-oriented movies that I've chosen for specific reasons to build character. We're also going to spend one day talking about how to use chores and work to build character in your kids. Like, you're going to find out how I specifically set up my kids to fail once in a while without them knowing, just to be able to train them on character once, on specific areas. And not to be mean, I mean, this isn't a good way, but I specifically did things every now and then to just set them up to learn or to strengthen a particular area of character in their life. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you. Um, and to me, this next one is how to find the reason why you get stressed out or angry with him, and how to completely stop those negative emotions happening once and for all. I
Mm.
remember when I was pregnant with my fourth child, Mia, my first girl, I bought this book called, oh gosh, what's it called? It's somewhere in my library here, but it's like, Stop, She's About to Yell, or She's About to Blow Up, something like that. I got it. I heard the lady in Focus on the Family, and I needed that book. It was like this, it was something like She's Gonna Blow Up or
She's
something.
gonna blow.
She's gonna blow. Yeah, that was me. Like, I was blowing every single day, okay? Every single day, I just had this anger, this frustration. Yeah, I was part of it, lack of, pregnancy, feeling so rotten and whatever. But I knew something in my heart like would tell me that there was more than just the situation, you know? And I didn't get my answer until 8 years later. And there's reasons why we blow up. There's reasons why we get stressed out and we lose it sometimes. And that is probably the most important part of the training, because I can give you techniques on good parenting, but the good parenting comes from the inside out. There's ways of thinking, there's thought patterns that you have in your mind that have been implanted in your upbringing from the moment you were a child, from the moment you were born. And that's what we have to get to in order to change that line, that code of thinking, that wrong way of thinking, that virus in your mind. And I'm going to help you detect it and bring it out and go here, and we're going to replace it with this. And I feel like there is no other parenting approach that I know of that is going to do this. Because yes, they give you the solutions. This is how you do it. But what I'm trying to do is get to the root of the issue so that you will not be the victim of your own emotions anymore. And I feel like that's when real parenting can take place. That's when real unconditional love can come in and transform your family. Okay? Because you can try to do good parenting forever, but good parenting, you have to become, you have to be a good parent. And there's a difference between doing and being. And the being is effortless. If you're having to do good parenting and you keep trying and you have the guilt and you have the frustration and you have, it's because you're trying to do, and doing is very hard. So that particular lesson, we're gonna go deep into the reasons why this is happening, and we're gonna cut them from the root, and we're gonna replace them with truth. And it's probably going to be towards the end, because I think a lot of people would normally not want to deal with some of these things, but it's going to be the most powerful thing you'll encounter, and we're going to be there with you all the way through. But if you're ready to deal, if you're ready to have the most, to just transform your family, I feel like you have to do this. Um, by the end of the 4 weeks, if you apply what you're learning, you will not just see a cleaner house, but you will be overjoyed with peace and rest as you see your family beginning to work together and getting along with each other. Because it's not just about what you see physically, but it's about what you're feeling in your heart, the level of connection that you're feeling amongst your family and your relationships. And this program is going to be perfect for all ages. Like, I'm not just going to teach the parents that are starting, but I'm going to, I mean, I have children of all ages. So my focus is going to be on all of those threads, as I've done in the videos and in the Google Hangouts, okay? As the bonus that I'm going to include in this program, the audio. So we're going to be doing the private community forum. We have the 4 weeks of online training once a week, probably on Thursdays, Thursday evenings. But besides that, you get a workshop called I Love You, but Sometimes I Don't Like You. In this audio workshop, I share the developmental stages that we all go through and how to use them to guide you in building strong character and better relationships with your children, especially during the teen years. Because it's easy to get along with our teens when they're young, I mean, with our kids when they're younger, even though, yes, they get us frustrated for things they do or don't do. But when they get to be, when they're becoming teens, there's a whole level of relationship that goes into that. Like, now you're dealing with a pre-adult, and they're thinking differently, they're analyzing things differently, and at that point it's almost like, wow, I love you, but I don't like you. So what do you do with that? How do you find out if in that developmental stage of raising your children you've missed a piece there, and how to come in and replace that piece that you didn't do? Because there's things that we should have done as parents, and this is not to create extra guilt, but it's emotional things that we should have done as parents that we have missed. And if we've missed it, we're going to create what they call arrested development, emotional arrested development. That is when you have a 30-year-old that's still acting like a 16-year-old. It's because we've missed those pieces. And parents focus a lot on the body, academics, and but we seldom focus on the emotional aspect of these relationships and teaching this to our kids. And so in this workshop, I'm going to teach you everything that I know in regards to that, and how we went from completely losing our oldest son's heart to winning it back when he was a teen, because of so many things that we had done wrong and for not focusing on this area particularly. The next workshop is called Preparing Sons for Life, the Mom's Part. I'm sorry, but I have 4 boys, 2 girls, and I know how to raise boys. I'm learning to raise girls, but I totally know how to raise boys. So this is like an extra plus for moms that have boys. And in this audio workshop, we're going to look at the life of famous women and what they did to raise amazing men. Like Abraham Lincoln's moms, they had an amazing effect. And I'm saying moms because he had two of them, a mom and a stepmom. George Washington's mom, John Wesley's moms, Mark Twain, Alexander the Great. All of these great, amazing men had mothers who greatly impacted their lives. And I found 12 principles that are of things they did right, and that's what we take a look at in that workshop. Then I have a workshop called Real Books and Real Life for a Real Education, and in that particular workshop we find how we can use real life experiences and real books to help us build stronger bonds, and to help us go places, not just in our minds, but to physically go out and build places. And as you do that, you build character. Then we have some mega bonuses, and I'm going to provide you with a step-by-step training video on how to do chores. This is especially awesome for the parents that have younger children, because we assume that they should know how to do this or that they should know how to do that. Well, the tool I just gave you in this Hangout is one aspect of it, but there needs to be a process of teaching this to younger children, and that's what that video is for. Then we have several PDF files. The first one is called the Age Ready Chore List. And in this list, it's a list that breaks down from different stages of maturity in your children and recommends the chores that each stage can be performing efficiently. Like those parents that have asked me, well, what should my 10-year-old be doing? Well, here I tell you what your 0 to 3-year-old should be doing, what your 3 to 5 or 6-year-old, et cetera, et cetera. It's in a PDF format. You get it, you print it, you have it available, and and you'll know, if you're way behind in this area, you've never trained in character, you can look at this list and say, wow, I need to go back to that area. And in the process of the 4 weeks, I will be telling you how to use each one of these lists in these PDFs in more detail too. I will say, hey, today we're going to talk about this, and today is when you begin to apply this particular list, print it out and use it. I also give you the actual resource of my favorite wonderful character resources for picture books for little ones, read aloud books for the family, books on manners, audios, movies, books for boys, book for girls, books they can read on their own. I mean, you name it. I've been an owner of a bookstore for 9 years, a bookstore that focuses on parenting, good character qualities. And so we have over 1,200 titles. I have a nice size compilation of books in this list and this PDF. Then I have the character traits. There's over 50 character traits with a negative trait listed accordingly, and it includes a definition of the positive trait so that you can use it as a check mark to study and set goals for each one of your kids. This is really, really important because, yes, we know there's obedience, we know there's attentiveness, we know that there is orderliness, we know there's respect, but do you know that there's 50 character traits? I mean, you don't have to know them all, but I can tell you that knowing the definition as a parent helped me to know what's missing. Helped me to, like, one day, my kids would pick up the table every time we finished dinner, and I would say, "Hey guys, can you pick up the table?" Yeah, they would pick it up. But and they were really obedient to pick up the table. But there was something that was happening, and tell me if you identify with this. They they would get up, say, "Oh, mom, the food was delicious," whatever. They go to the room. I would say, "Hey guys, can you come back and help me pick up the table?" They'd come back, help me pick up the table, no problem. And I was like, "Wait a second. Something's wrong here because I'm having to remind them every day that they need to pick up the table." I mean, it's not obedience because they're coming when I call them. What is this called? What's missing? So I'm like thinking, right? And I'm thinking, this is called initiative. Initiative is the character trait that allows someone to look at something that needs to, and I'm looking that way, it's because my table is over there and I'm just like remembering the process here. But initiative is that character trait that reminds us that there's something that's not done that needs to be done. And so I called them over one day and I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry because I haven't taught you about initiative." And initiative, and I gave them the definition, just a one-liner definition, which are all included in this PDF that I'm going to give you. And I said, this is the definition of initiative. And I'm going to help you, just like I did the five finger in the one video, right? In the video number one. I gave them a trigger and I said, the trigger is going to be the word initiative. I'm not going to tell you pick up the table, but after we're done with dinner, I'm going to say initiative, and you automatically will look over to the table. You'll look to see what needs to be done, and you'll get it done. So for a couple of days, I didn't even have to do it for 3 weeks. I mean, just for 3 days, we set that routine. They would finish with dinner, and I'd say initiative, and they would look around, see what needed to be done. They pick it up and they go. And then now it's something that just normally happens. I don't have to tell them anymore. But knowing these character traits helps us to know what to work on. And you may not have to memorize them all, but if you have them in writing, like I have them here in this list for you, with their definitions and the opposite character trait list, then you'll know what to work on, okay? Then we have character quotes. For those of you that have younger kids that are still doing copy work or doing handwriting, penmanship, you can use this. You can use this to as a copy work, like just for them to copy. It's 110 of the best character quotes by famous men and women in history. You can also use it with the whole entire family, just to get one and discuss it every single night as a family. um, Simple things, things, just all these, one of my favorite quotes that I found. And so you can use it as a topic of discussion, sort of like a mini slight, uh, not devotional, but character study. Sometimes you don't have time to do a full blown out study, but if you say, "Hey, I heard this quote today. What do you think about it?" and you discuss it, you're already planting one more seed in that area. And the last two PDFs, like, mind you, this is a lot of information, I know, but you can see all of this in the building character with children.com/package/. And you get two ebooks, my favorite ebooks, and one is called Stories Worth Rereading, which is written by famous authors. This book has been out of print. It was written in the late 1800s, and it has titles like A Little Child's Work, Their Word of Honor, How Nick Learned Manners, and through those, it's just short stories that you can read aloud to your family, so you can begin to just plant those little seeds of character. There's another book included called Teddy's Button, and this one you can read with the whole family. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome, and it's anywhere between 12 to 16 to $19 if you buy it online. It was originally written in 1896. Teddy's Button is just a book that captures the heart of any child and any adult. Okay, and I'm just going to say it's perfect for the whole family to sit down once a week or every couple of days and just read it with your whole family. If you have teenagers, like no matter what, you can read this book, or you can give it to them and they can read it. But that's included too. And I want to say I have no problem with giving you this information, meaning if you don't like it, even after the 4 weeks, I have no problem with giving you your money back. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I have a mission and I've poured my heart into what I'm doing. I've built this whole website without even asking for a penny from you. I'm, giving you these videos. Just those videos alone, I had to pay, $1,200 to someone to make them for me, to record them for me, to edit them, and to provide you the best quality. And all of that, what I'm saying is, I haven't asked a penny from you. Like, I'm not doing this for the money. And so money is not the reason why I'm doing this. It's because I want to provide information. And for those parents that want to go deeper, I want to walk with you deeper. I want to create this community. And if you're serious about this, then I want you to join me. How much is this program? It's $97. I feel like some parents are not used to that amount of numbers on a program, but honestly, I feel like that's a very cheap price. I would pay $500 easily for this program because I know that the information that I'm giving you is concise, and you've already seen the type of detail that I put into my work. So spending, I mean, that's $20 a session. $20 a session just for the life. I mean, could you invest $20 for 4 weeks, one time a week, to be in this community? I think that's cheap. And then on top of that, all of the other resources that I'm adding, I mean, if you invested $10 per week and then you add another, you know, $50 for the rest of the resources, however you want to think of it. In this, the point is it's affordable. It's very affordable. I don't want anybody to not join because of the money. Um, I want everybody to join in. I mean, I honestly feel like this is worth a lot more. I don't want to devalue my time and my effort into doing this, and I feel like $97 is a price that anybody can afford. If you click on yes, I want to join, you will definitely be taken to a page in where you maybe have an options of doing, I think it's 3 payments if you want, but go to the, $97. It's a very reasonable price, and I hope that you'll join me, um, because I'm committed to doing this. I hope that you'll be part of this community with me. All right. So what I'm doing is, for those people that want to sign up today, I'm only going to work with 50 people. We already have a group of 15 women that are going to be part of this group. And for the other additional 35 that come in, because I work, part of that live training includes questions and answers. So I know that I wouldn't be able to handle more than 50 women at a time of questions. And so I'm just going to say, if you want to sign up and be part of this first beta group, because the price might go up after that. I think it might go up after that, honestly, because um, I don't want to make it too cheap either. And so after that, if you want to be a part of that group, then I just say, please join me now. Don't think about it too much. Just like, if this is something that you've been waiting for, this is the perfect time to start the year, and you'll be part of our amazing community. All right. So let me know if you have any other questions. Now I'm going to do the raffle. So again, the link is buildingcharacterwithchildren.com/package. All right, ladies, do you have any questions?
No.
Yep, you're all good. All right, thank you, Marcy. How about you, Latoya?
I don't have any questions. I'm ready to get started. Sign me up.
Yeah, you are signed up, girl. Beth, do you have any questions?
Um, Not that I can think of right now, but I'm sure I will have some. And I'm
Okay.
excited to get started too.
I know, I know. I'm really excited because of the community. Like, we're going to be doing this once a week. We're going to be taking time for ourselves 1.5 to 2 hours a week for 4 weeks and really investing and go way deeper in our parenting. Like, I challenge any single parent that thinks they already have good parenting to get on this program and go way deeper with me. I mean, and if you feel like you're lacking in relationships, then it's a no-brainer. I mean, if there's something that's broken or that's slightly not right in your family, if your every day is not peace and joy and tranquility, then something should be. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not messes that happen in life, like the kids do this, the kids do that. But if the overall inner feeling that you have in your heart is tranquility, peace, joy, then something's definitely missing, and I'm going to help you get to that. And if you already have good parenting and you feel like, okay, I have peace, tranquility, and joy, I will take you to the next level. Like, I will take you to whatever piece is missing because that's what I am. I'm a family catalyst. That was the best way, the best name that I could come up with for myself. I just come in and I'm like, I just jolt you into life. So
Mhm.
um, let me, I want you guys to make comments on Facebook. If you don't have questions, that's fine. But if you can make a comment on Facebook, because out of those comments is where I pick the winner for our raffle today. All right, so several
You-
you, yeah, there's lots of comments on there. I'm just trying to see.
It's an awesome prize, you guys. Leave comments.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Mama? What? Yeah.
What did you say, Beth? Oh,
I'm
you lost
trying
my
to
Beth.
figure out how to get there.
To get where? To the
To the
Facebook comments?
Facebook part, yeah.
Okay, go to Google Chrome. I mean, to your, or to
Uh-huh.
whatever, to the
Yep.
page, to the live hangout. And you're going to have to pause the video because otherwise we're going
Oh.
to hear it. And then towards the bottom of the page, you can see the Facebook comments area. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what the price is. And so today's award or price comes from our friend Jen Altman, Altman. She's a mom of four. She has a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old boy, and she has a 2-month-old. She's a homeschool mom, military mom, and quite the entrepreneur. She has several businesses that she runs from home, and she is definitely amazing, like super mom for sure. And she is going to generously donate for us and just give us this prize for the moms that are hanging out with us. It's a gift from 31. 31 is I believe, is a direct sale company,
Mhm.
and you can contact her. Her website is my31, written out like not the letter, not the number, but the letter, my31.com. Actually, let me open it up for you. Um, 31.com/192263. If you are looking to make some money on the side and want to have your own business, then this is definitely something that I would recommend that you look into and contact Jen and find out more about it. Like, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And so they have a lot of things for the pantry, bags, organizing things. So if you're knickknack, if you're like into organization and pretty organization things, and that's like a gift that you have and you love to share that with people, then this would be a great business for you to join. And so contact Jennifer. Right here is her name, Jennifer Altman. Okay, just email her or find out more about her. But her gift to us today is a flat iron case for your flat iron, like if you have to straighten your hair, and that's worth $22. There's a wristless wallet, which that's like those wallets that you put on your wrist to, like, if you're going jogging or if you're going to the fair or whatever. That's worth $28, and she's doing that for us. She's including that, so that's part of the price today. And so the flat iron case for $22, the wristlet wallet for $28, a coin purse worth $15, a nail filing for $2, and a round caddy that says shower power. It's worth $25. So there's over close to $100 in value for this grand prize by our sponsor, Jen Altman from my31.com. So I'm going to pick, let's see, I'm just going to like this. And our winner is Christine. Benitez. So, Christine, you are the winner of our grand prize today. So, I'm going to play with my. Oh, wait, I'm going to have to do that over because I missed the music. All right, and our grand winner is Christine Benitez. Congratulations. So, I just think this stuff is so cool. Yeah, absolutely. I think they have applauses. So anyway, congratulations on winning. Please go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook and send me your address so that we can get that gift right over to you, mailed by Jen Altman, okay, from my31.com. And if you have not liked me on Facebook, please like me. Pretend to like me. I mean, I'll be okay with that, but just go to my page, Shirley Solis on Facebook and click like because that's one way that we really stay in touch with you and have information to share, etc. So anyway, go ahead and like that. And let me see, are there any other questions that you have? Any other ideas? Because we've been on this for about an hour and 30 minutes, and I think we've pretty much covered it all. All right. Any questions, ladies?
Oh, thanks for having me. It was great.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Awesome. All right, I'm just looking through the list to see if there's any other questions that have come in. All right, let me refresh this page because I have to, like I'm doing this from here, but I'm looking in my iPad, which is a little bit smaller information. So most of all, what I've had in comments is just people saying, yeah, they liked it, great idea. That's most of the great feedback. Aw, Carrie says, Shirley, I think you're awesome, and Family Catalyst is an awesome title. Thank you. One time I went to a place and somebody said I'm a fire starter and a firecracker, and so
Yes,
I was like,
firecracker.
yeah, that firecracker is a good
Yeah,
word.
don't start any
So
fires, but
the only the good kind, the one that does not consume you, like not like the burning bush. You know how that burning bush in Moses didn't consume, like it was just a
that's
good
right.
fire, it gave light. Like that's what we are. We're a whole bunch of family catalysts. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of to finish this off, and I'm going to put music because I love dancing. And so, ladies, if you could get up with me, and well, if you want, I don't know about you, but I'm dancing. All right. I'm going to put one of my songs. It's going to sound a little bit weird. Okay, like look good right here. Put this up right here. You ladies, they're all watching you,
I
so
have ice cream for
find.
dessert.
So
I have ice cream right now.
he wants ice cream for breakfast, Latoya. So great, so cute. Okay, let me see what song. It's gonna have to be Hispanic song, that's for sure, because it's just part of what I do. Oh, this is a good one. This one is by, I don't know if you can hear it real well, and it might be because I don't know how to put music, and I don't know how to put music on my TV. I'm just doing it out of my iPad. Can you hear it? You could hear it. It's merengue. No, give me a second. Yeah. Well, that one's one. Let me see. I'm gonna maybe what I work out with. Okay, this one. I work out with this. I do Zumba. So one day we'll have like an online Zumba class. Are you girls, like now we get to put our fun. So I hope you've had fun. I've had a lot of fun. This is just as real and as crazy as can be. Like if you ladies don't want to be part of our group, you're really missing out because I tell you, there's just a whole lot. So thank you for joining us. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. And I'm just gonna dance here for a little while, like release that good energy that was created during this great call. So let's see, a Zumba dance.
You're so cute.
Thank you. All right, big kiss to all of you. Thank you for spending time with me, and I just wish you the best in this weekend. Have a blast, And if you have any questions, please send me a message on Facebook. And I hope that you join us on my program, Building Character with Children /Package. Take care and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, ladies. Thank you.